Hey y'all, it is August the 10th, 2019. And y'all, before I start this video, I realized that, I said I don't really want to do many of these recorded videos anymore. It's kind of tedious. It does take up my time and stuff. And honestly, what I want to do is I want to dive into the live streams. It's going to take a little while because I got to make some money. I got to establish an internet connection or find a free internet connection in which we could have open and honest and, a candid dialogue between us folks out here who we don't know the truth, but we desperately want to know the truth, all right? And that kind of alienates us from a lot of different folks out there, all right? Y'all, right now what we're going to look at real quick is a smattering of little different news things, all right, as you can see right there. And we're just going to kind of dive through them in a little order that I thought of. But before we do, I want to let you know that this, just to give you a trigger warning, this video is going to be quite depressing, all right? So if you're not down for that, sort of, I don't blame you at all. So just to let you know, don't say I didn't warn you, quite depressing. But the thing is, I wanted to bring you something that you probably already know. Most of you already know, but I know that there's a few people out there who don't realize yet what it is I'm talking about, and I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you exactly what I'm talking about, and you're not going to get this particular angle anywhere else, probably. More than likely. It's very unique what I'm about to bring you. Like I said, it's going to be very depressing, all right? I just wanted to start on this particular article, just this headline, for example. It's almost non sequitur, but it does kind of tie in, because what this particular video is pertaining to is racism. Now, me personally, I'm kind of mixed, all right? So it's kind of hard for me to even be racist, all right? And then secondly, I gotta let you know, racism isn't a real thing. It's a made-up thing. Hatred is a real thing, and it definitely exists. All right, you could hate people who are different colors from you, and you call it racism if you want, but that's a made-up word. All right. And that being said, a lot of people keep calling Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, they keep calling him racist all day long. And the thing is, you say whatever you want about Donald Trump. You say, oh, he doesn't know how to do his job. Oh, he's this and that. Oh, he's an evil genius. Oh, he's a complete buffoon. Or whatever it is that y'all want to say. All right? You're entitled to your opinion, but racist doesn't make any sense. All right? That's the one thing that doesn't make any sense. It never has made sense in regards to Donald Trump. It's like, dude, that's how I know you're illegitimate. That's how I know you're not looking for any sort of answers when you call Donald Trump a racist. I know most of y'all out there ain't calling Donald Trump a racist, all right? But I wanted to give you this example. This is a article that just got recently released. Officer down, Baltimore sergeant fighting for life after shot by masked robber. All right, you might already have inferred this took place in Baltimore. Recently, Donald Trump is called a racist, and he's been called a white supremacist. All right, I've never met a white supremacist in my life, to be honest with you. All right, but he was called a racist and a white supremacist for saying Baltimore is dirty and it's filled up with rats, and it's covered in crime and stuff like that, and that's just what it is. A lot of us already knew that about Baltimore. A lot of us already did, right? Donald Trump just having to say what everybody was thinking, and then people turn around and say, oh, he's a racist and a white supremacist. He's saying black people are rats, right? No, that's not what he said. Y'all are being ridiculous, right? And some of y'all get paid to be ridiculous. I'm talking about the people in the news peddling this garbage. Meanwhile, this sergeant right here, he's one of 3 separate incidents in Baltimore in the past 3 weeks. Why don't you look it up if you don't believe me? In the past 3 weeks, officers who've been robbed and basically like assaulted and fighting for their lives at times in Baltimore. That's unprecedented. That sounds like a war. And in fact, this particular article is pretty much talking about how it's almost all out war between the police and people trying to murder the police, or at least rob them, like in front of their own home in Baltimore. Like, the Baltimore police shouldn't even want to live in Baltimore anymore. I mean, it's like almost a national emergency. And yet Donald Trump's a racist and a white supremacist. Like I said, that doesn't exist. But if it did exist, Donald Trump wouldn't be that man, all right? That's how you know people are lying. All right, but now we're about to get into the heavy stuff. We're about to get into the depressing stuff, all right? Actually, before we do that, just give you another taste. How about I give you another taste? See that beautiful woman right there? You might hate her. You might, because she has white skin, you might think, oh, she's a bad person. But I doubt it. The thing is, I've been watching Faith Goldie for a long time. Not only is she just stunning and strikingly beautiful, but she's very articulate and very, I don't know how to describe her. She's a strong woman, dude. From what I've seen, very strong, articulate, funny, insightful. All right, she just got banned from Twitter. All right, and the people from Narcity or whatever, they couldn't be even more happier because she's been banned from Twitter. Now they want her banned from YouTube. Why? Because of her white skin. It's like, dude, I don't even believe in racism, but y'all so full up of hatred that you want everybody with white skin basically banned. And it doesn't even matter if you have white skin. Some of these news people out here, they want everybody who's white banned. All over everywhere. And they keep talking about white privilege. See, now we're going to get into the depressing stuff, all right? All right, so without further ado, they keep talking about white privilege. They keep talking about white superiority and stuff, or supremacy or whatever. And they keep calling Faith Goldie a white Nazi supremacist or whatever and stuff, man. That's how they make their living. Meanwhile, that stuff doesn't even exist. You want an example? I mean, there's millions of examples that we could go and find right now, but here's an example right here. I got this screenshot, and it actually doesn't say the lady's name, but I'm sure you can find it if you want to. It's kind of an old story. All right, you can see right there in the headline already what we're talking about. Teen committed suicide after racist bullying at school. All right, and the article goes, we can't see the article right now because I screenshotted it, but the article goes on and says, this young lady, she was going to school, some sort of boarding school or something like that, some sort of charter school over in the UK. All right, this lady, you don't know it from the picture, but she's actually Polish. I think she's from Poland. Okay, and so she goes over to this charter school or something. It's called Pool Academy. All right, Pool Academy, and this was back in 2017. She gets bullied and bullied and bullied, right, to the point where she commits suicide. Now, like it says, racist bullying. Right, and if you read the articles, they don't even describe why is it, what racist bullying, who is doing the racist bullying. The articles that I read didn't even describe it. All right, but here's what I want to explain that people couldn't even touch on. I mean, this girl lost her life, and people made news articles about it and didn't even get to the point of the matter. All right, they say racist bullying by who? Okay, Pool Academy, just to let you know, because of the news articles, they ain't gonna tell you. Pool Academy is in the UK. All right, so if you can imagine, okay, we're in the UK. This lady, she's getting racist bullied to the point where she winds up committing suicide. All right, But who do you think was racist bullying her? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. All right? It wasn't British people. I'm here to tell you, all right? They're the same exact color. All right? So think about that. Who is bullying her then? Okay? It was not, I promise you, it was not British boys. I'll tell you that right now. Of course not, it wasn't. All right? What the articles won't tell you is that obviously, this young girl is getting bullied by Middle Eastern people who are taking over the UK as we speak, you know? I mean, and that's obvious, dude. I don't even have to do no research to figure it out. And none of these news places could even tell you about it. They say, oh, racist bullying. By who? All right? I mean, it's ridiculous. And here's the thing about it. As far as the bullying itself, okay, that's kind of bad, all right? A lot of people speak out against school bullying and whatnot, bullying at school. That's not even the point, to be honest. All right, certainly it was Middle Eastern folks. It likely was Middle Eastern girls who just basically harassed this girl until she wound up committing suicide. But the problem is, it's not even the little girls, it's not even the girls at school is the problem. I'm here to tell you. No, if you go to the root of the problem is that this young girl you're looking at right now had nowhere to run to at home. She didn't have no one to confide in. She didn't have no security basically in her life. She didn't have no one telling her, look, you're a beautiful young girl. We're about to send you in the midst of all sort of Middle Eastern folks who ain't going to like you. And the reason is because your skin. And the reason is because you're very pretty, right? We're going to send you into the lion's den and they're going to totally bully you into submission. That's basically what we're going to do. Nobody ever had the sense enough to explain that to this young girl. And so the young girl wound up committing suicide. All right. She died a long time ago. And that's exactly what happened. So if you want to look for the root of the cause, it is in her home. Period. All right. There's no strength there. There's no security there. There's nobody to confide in there. Right? And at a certain point, she got to the point where she had nowhere else to turn, right? Basically, that's what happened. Speaking of have nowhere else to turn, that's where this whole video is going to lead to, the rest of this video. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this white supremacy. All right? What's the next one that I want to look at? When it comes to white supremacy, check out this young girl. All right, even more recent, Alabama girl, even more younger. All right, this should be very disturbing to a lot of y'all out there, but guess what? This is a trend, and it's only going to increase. All right, Alabama girl, age 9, commits suicide after racist taunting family says. All right, when you go into these articles, they actually do bring it up, but here's the thing. She got racist taunting. Who do you think she got it from? All right. And here's a surprise twist. It wasn't from white children. It wasn't from white supremacist children. All right. The racist taunting that she got, that they describe in the articles, was actually from, believe it or not, little black children. All right, I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Little black children. You want to know the reason why? The article explains. The reason why is because she used to ride to school with a friend of hers who was a little white boy. That's the reason. A little white boy. Okay, and so because of that, she got all sort of taunts. Oh, you think you're white? Oh, you're an ugly black bee. Those are the kind of taunts she would get. That should be disturbing. But you know what? That goes on all the time. I'm here to tell you. That goes on all the dang time. That sort of thing. And it's never brought up in the news. I remember a story of a young girl I talked about a long time ago, maybe the same age, maybe even a little bit younger, who took her life and stuff. And the reason is because she had light skin. She was also a little black girl. But she was light skinned, she was mixed and stuff, and she got constant taunting over and over and over again for her light skin until she committed suicide. And I'm talking about this young. This young. I'm talking about this young. And the thing is, at the end of the day, I don't even blame the children. Certainly, it was children making fun of this girl and the other girl and the other girl. Certainly, it was all children taking place at school. But meanwhile, I mean, the people overlooking this young girl, her parents or whoever, her guardians, didn't have the sense enough to know, look, these young kids out there, they're gonna learn what they learn at home, and it's gonna be quote unquote racist, and it's gonna be hateful towards anything white, anything, no matter what. All right? If you hang out with a young little white boy, oh well, we're gonna hate you for that. Oh, if you happen to be light skinned, oh, we're gonna hate you for that. All right, it's not white supremacy. It's what it is white. What's the opposite of supremacy? All right, I'm not sure what the opposite is, but that's what it is. White people are hated to the 10th degree, dude. And meanwhile, if you ever turn on a TV, you would think it's the exact opposite. No, it isn't. All right, that's not reality. All right, so this girl, she wound up losing her life, and that's very unfortunate. We got a couple other stories that I want to share with you that might blow your mind. All right, before we get out of here, I don't want to make this too long of a video. We're already 16 minutes in. All right, but you want to get your mind blown? How about this? All right, we've been talking about depressing things. All right, how about we get more depressing? All right, are you seeing this? Have you ever heard about this? Because, see, this article right here and articles just like it, they should be the #1 top headline all day, every day. All right. We should not let this go until it gets resolved. And of course, it never did. Of course, it never did. Let me read it. Let me read it for you. Girl of age 6. I mean, it's almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. When I was 6, I couldn't even imagine. I didn't even know people. When I was 6 years old, I didn't know people could kill themselves, basically. All right. It was something called innocence. All right. But this girl, she died from hanging in foster care. All right. A 6-year-old girl, and I read the article, dude, it'll break your heart. Dude. She's 6 years old. And she's talking about, oh man, like that she needs desperately help she never got. Not in foster care, not from her parents. Come to find out, her father was basically killed in a drive-by shooting. Like pretty much when she was born, her mother was all strung out on drugs her whole life. This young girl, she winds up in foster care because ain't nobody there to take care of her. She goes to foster care and realizes, well, she ain't getting no sort of attention there either. This is a 6-year-old girl. She barely is old enough to even know how to talk. And meanwhile, she's writing notes talking about, because here's the thing, she was so abused that psychologically she was all over the place. I mean, she had homicidal tendencies, she had suicidal tendencies, and this was documented. This was known. All right? And if you read into the story and stuff, you realize at 6 years old, even though she had these tendencies, even though her mind was already messed up, she already had remorse because she realized she couldn't even help the things she was doing. She couldn't even help it. She even wrote a note talking about how the things that she does makes her sad. All right? She was that abused as a young child. All right? She goes through a nightmare of a life for 6 years until she finally does the unthinkable, something that I couldn't even have imagined at 6 years old. All right? Should have been the headline, should have been national news that entire year, but no, it wasn't. Oh, no, because that life just didn't matter so much. And you know what's even more disturbing is the headline. If you look at it, $1.5 million. Who is that given to? The little girl's grandmother. That's who it was given to. $1.5 million settlement. All right? This little girl had nobody to run to include her grandmother. To include her grandmother, had nobody to run to. No sort of security at all. All right. So at the point of being 6 years old, getting no kind of attention, no kind of security, a 6 year old winds up ending it all. And then the grandmother has the nerve enough to say, "Oh, y'all messed up. Y'all weren't taking care of business, and so therefore I'm gonna have to sue y'all." The young girl's very own grandmother does that, and she wins the settlement. Could you imagine how much children would be benefited if, just by putting that 1.5 million straight directly into the foster care program? If there's people who will even participate in it who are worthy of being foster parents, you know how many children's lives that would benefit to give them the 1.5 million dollars. But no, 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 no. The foster care, the government basically has to give that 1.5 million to a grandmother who wasn't who wasn't a grandmother to begin with, who literally couldn't lift a finger apparently. All right, that lady. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if my daughter somehow ended up in foster care? I'm here to tell you, if my daughter somehow ended up in foster care, and she did this, and they if they wanted to give me the money, if they wanted to give me $1.5 million, I wouldn't be able to spend one nickel of that money. You understand? That whole $1.5 million, all of it is blood money from a 6 year old girl. How in the world could you even think about taking it? If they wanted to give me the money, there's no way that I could take it. But again, still, there's a situation where the grandma is actually suing for the money. She's going out of her way to sue for the money. Basically, she might as well take it from other foster kids. That's how sick it is. It's so sick. That's the thing about it. That's why I had to make this video, because I've had this on my heart for a few days, and I almost wasn't going to make the video, but that is so dang sick. This little girl's problems came directly from her household. That's where your problem's going to come from these parents. You can forget about school bullying. You can forget about that forever. All right. This is where and if you think like a hotline is going to save the day, no, it's not. It really isn't. All right. This is a terrible situation. Some of these kids are living total and complete nightmares, just right all around us. Your city, your little town, it's happening. And it is the biggest problem that I could ever even think of. And still, some people are dead set on hating Donald Trump for some reason. Like, dude, I can't imagine how sick people are. This is how sick people are. All right, we're about done because this is a long video. We're already 22 minutes in, but let's go ahead and finish on this one. I mean, that one was sad. That's the saddest one. That's the saddest one I've ever heard. All right. All right, but just give you another taste. Another one that I heard of just before we get out of here is this girl right here. All right, you know what we've been talking about, right? Like, okay, people gotta blame the school. People gotta blame the school children to say, "Oh, it's bullying. Bullying is what did it. Bullying is what did it." People gotta blame. And it's always the parents and the guardians, and they're always pointing the finger at somebody else, saying, "Oh, you're to blame. Oh, you're to blame." You're looking at this little girl right now. Her name was Benita Diamond. It was Benita Diamond. All right. Before she decided, here you go. Here's the headline. A young girl died by suicide after taking an Uber to an empty parking garage. Now her family is fighting for change. And what they mean by that is her family is suing the Uber. All right. And this was back in June 2019. Actually, that's not too long ago. All right, I heard about this particular incident not too long ago, so I guess it's really not that old. All right, a 12-year-old girl. I mean, we're describing the so young. They're so young. This 12-year-old girl, she, for whatever reason, gets it in her head. It says right here that she waited for her mom to fall asleep. Don't even worry about her father. Who knows where her father is? All right. So she waits till her mother falls asleep. That she hailed a ride, and by Uber, and she went to a closed parking garage where she committed suicide. All right. And so the mother turns around and says, oh, I'm going to sue Uber because Uber had no business giving my daughter a ride to anywhere because she was 12 years old. And in a sixth sense, she almost makes a point, because that right there is like, dude, why are they giving 12-year-olds rides places? That's, in a sense, irresponsible, but that is beside the point. That's beside the point. You're the mother of this young little girl, a blossoming flower, and you're going to pay her no mind to the point where she wants to end it. She doesn't even see no way out. All right? You're going to pay her so little mind that she takes an Uber just to get out of there, just to end her own dang life. And then you're going to turn around and point the finger at somebody. You're going to point the finger at Uber. Like, that makes any difference. Had Uber not come and picked her up, Benita would have found a different way. All right? Y'all some sick. This is just to give you a taste of how sick people are out there. And it gets even more sicker, trust me. But that's just to give you a taste, man. And meanwhile, they're going to turn and point their finger all day long. People are concentrating lots of times on stuff that's beside the point. When it comes to the problems that we have in America, and as well as the whole world, the biggest problem is the abuse and the exploitation of children. And most of the time, more often than not, that's inside their very own home. All right? If you're looking for the root of the problem, all right, white supremacy is not even a real thing. It's a made-up thing. And the news will talk about it endlessly till they're blue in the face. All right? It's a totally made-up thing. And even if it wasn't made up, who cares? Who cares? Because this is the problem. This is the biggest problem. There is no bigger problem than this. All right? If we were to resolve a problem like this, we would transform the world into a bright, shiny place. It would be a dang utopia. If we were to concentrate on this problem and this problem alone, the whole rest of our problems would be gone forever. Period. The end. All right. So if you're looking for a bigger problem, you're not going to find a bigger problem. You're just not going to find one. All right. Anyways, that's about all I have for right now. So, I know most of y'all already knew where I was coming from. I hope that I reached some of y'all out there who is honestly just focusing on a problem that isn't a problem. You got to focus on the root of the problem, all right? Sometimes it's got to be shown, and that's the whole point of this video. Sometimes you really got to see it for yourself to really understand that maybe you're tripping, all right? And maybe I'm tripping out there. But y'all let me know, holler at me in the comments if you've seen this video and stuff like that. I appreciate you. It's August the 10th, 2019.